Welcome to Diplomatic Passport here on Zim Papers Television Network ZTN. My name is Robin Kundiwa and the program is Diplomatic Passport, that show where we give you updates on the new normal in which we live because of the novel coronavirus. Of course, we focus on the world, the region, and certainly on Zimbabwe and see how people have adapted to that so-called new normal. Of course, today we're going to be talking about the arts, as December is usually a very artistic period on our calendar. Is it still the same this year when we've had COVID-19? And what are the opportunities and what is it that we stand to lose? But before we do that, let's start by taking a look at Zimbabwe's COVID-19 statistics as unveiled to us by the Ministry of Health and Childcare. So Zimbabwe now has 10,718 confirmed cases of the novel coronavirus, including 291 deaths and 8,880 recoveries, which puts the national recovery rate at 85.3%. 548 PCR tests were done in the last 24 hours and 101 new cases were recorded. Now, these are 46 local transmission cases and 55 returnees from South Africa. Harare, of course, is still the epicenter with 3,483 cases, followed by Bulawayo, which now has 2,573 cases of the novel coronavirus. Now, of course, when we look at those statistics, they're merely statistics to us sometimes if you've not been infected or affected by COVID-19. But there is a face, there is a name to the people who we are losing, and we continue to lose very, very important people closest to our hearts the most. Of course, from that very beginning where we had our very first casualty in the world of the media, we are also again in mourning because, on a sad note, we lost a veteran ZBC journalist, Janet Munyaka, on Saturday. Now, Janet was a diplomatic correspondent and renowned health journalist, and she succumbed to COVID-19 related complications at St. Anne's Hospital in Harare. She, of course, was laid to rest today at Glen Forest Memorial Park in line with the COVID-19 regulations, as you can see there in our imaging. It's a very sad moment for us. We say rest in eternal peace. And certainly you see that around her there were those men who are in protective clothing. That is not the way we want to bid farewell to our family and friends, to people we love. But unfortunately, even that closure of that body viewing, we couldn't even get that. That is the reality of COVID-19, and that is a sad reality that should kick us into making sure that we are as careful as possible and should not be complacent. Of course, a lot of our borders now are open, and we're getting new people who are going to be coming into the country, and we see a rising number of cases coming from South Africa, for example, and we need to be absolutely vigilant because we will continue to lose people that we love. Farewell, Janet Munyaka. But on another note, I've got two young people in the studio today, and people who represent the world of the arts. Now, in December, we usually expect more new releases, albums, the works from people, but we're living in a new normal. But before we talk about that, I want to welcome you to Diplomatic Passport, and I want you guys to introduce yourselves. I'll start with the lady. Who are you? What do you do?
All right. My name is Rachel Kwainona, and my stage name is Rach Music. I'm an Afropop and R&B artist, and I am also a youth advocate, and I recently registered my own organization where it's called Loud Silence, where we deal with mental health, well-being in young people around Zimbabwe. And I'm also, okay, it's quite a long profile, and I'm also a communication development officer at House of Arts Association.
Absolutely,
yes.
And we've been doing quite a bit with House of Arts ourselves. And the young gentleman there.
Hi, Zimbabwe. My name is Outron Reigns. I'm a hip-hop artist.
Outron Reigns, you do have a real name, I would like to think.
Yeah, I have a real name.
What do they call you at home?
Tambirai Chemere.
Tambirai Chemere.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to Diplomatic Passport, and certainly it was refreshing because we were part of the House of Arts boot camp that you guys held.
Yeah.
Before we talk about your contribution to music, what was that all about, the boot camp, and why did you decide to hold a boot camp for young Zimbabwean artists?
Well, with the bootcamp, we have a new project that's called Key to the City. So, House of Arts Association, we had a bootcamp, a 2-day bootcamp, whereby we set up a whole workshop for young artists from marginalized places and the general youth. So, we were trying to teach them 3 components of the Key to the City movement, which was advocacy, mindset shift, and entrepreneurship. So, these components, we're supposed to teach the young artists who are getting into music, whether art or music, to use their platforms to advocate for change or anything through their music. And also the entrepreneur part of it, we wanted them to use their art to make money out of it and generate an income to help them in their lives. So we had different stakeholders and people who were able to come on board and talk to the young people to help them through navigating when it comes to the entrepreneurship part of it, and then the advocacy and mindset shift. So we had different speakers and presenters to talk to them and assist them. And if they had questions, then they will ask. But that's basically what we are trying to do.
Okay.
Yes.
And I know, Altron, you were a part of that boot camp. Perhaps before we talk about your music, tell us about how that helped shape you as an artist, as a person, and as a personality.
It helped me a lot because we exchanged a lot of ideas and a lot of connections.
Okay, you made a lot of connections.
Yeah.
Now, I want to then come back now to the December bit that I talked about. The December bit is very tricky. We get a lot of artists bringing out music, and there's this rush at that period of time. And then all of a sudden, we've got COVID-19. You can't make money out of live shows. I know there's been an opening up a little bit, but I know that's also a key thing that you guys talked about at the boot camp. How have you been affected, even from your side as an artist and somebody who's trying to make, to leave a big footprint in your world?
So we as artists and as an organization, we tried to find ways on how we can assist artists. I'm an artist myself, so because of COVID-19, I did not stop trying to make music. So with the organization, basically, we moved to social media. So we were trying to, we had actually a social media concert, and we looking forward to even doing more social media concerts where we can bring on board like different artists so that they can use that platform to present their music. And as a person who's also an artist, I used social media to even post on YouTube and just share my music. So with COVID-19, it didn't really stop anything for some artists. We tried to push and use what we have at that time so that we can push our music
and
out
that's
there.
the new normal they're talking about. Go onto other different platforms. Altron, tell me about your music and where, for example, if somebody can your music, where they actually have to go and could you on your stuff and the stuff you've been doing.
They can go on YouTube. They can find my works there.
And that's what I want to know. Where what's
They can search Altron Reigns.
Altron Reigns.
Yeah.
Tell me about what sort of work you've got out there. Have you done an album? What have you done?
I've done a mixtape.
Okay.
A mixtape which is 6 tracks.
6 tracks, okay.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, we would have wanted to see Altron's stuff today, but Altron, I will tell you, Altron sent us a dodgy video. So hopefully we're going to get something, and then we're also going to show you what the young people are doing out there. But if you're only just joining us, of course, we are coming to the tail end of the show. But if you don't know where you are, well, this is the show that you're watching. An advert in high definition, not a dodgy one, as we got from Altron Reigns. But before we close, I also want to see where you guys are taking your music, where you're taking your game, your young people. You're trying to get into a very saturated area, and even the people who have long been in music. We saw H Metro talking about how Jah Praiser was saying things are tough. Alec Macheso was saying the same, and they had to do different things. And Alec Macheso, for the first time in his career, released a single and not an album because he has to make money from the live shows. So what does this say for you? What new challenges do you have going forward, and what can we see from you as an artist and also as somebody who works in organizations that help young people on a day-to-day?
Okay, so of course the COVID-19 is still a challenge because it's not like it's going to end on the 31st of December.
Yeah.
So we have to put that in mind when we are trying to make shows. Like I said before, we do social media events, and we are trying as our best when it comes to trying to make those shows. And then because with the new project that's there, we're also trying to make money out of that, but on the social media platforms, because obviously we can't have like people in an open space. It's really not allowed, and we can't do that because of COVID. And as a person, like as an artist, of course, personally, I'll keep pushing on my social media platforms because that's the only thing that I have right now. And I will share literally all my links on all social media platforms so that I can push my music out there and just be positive when I do that.
And we're fortunate we've got your video today, and it's not dodgy. And then just your final word, Altron, tell us what to expect from you as an artist going into the next year. What are you working on something?
Expect for the best.
Just the best.
And more.
More of the best.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you so much for coming to Diplomatic Passport. I will ask you, Rachel, to just briefly tell me what we're going to play out with, because it's your product, it's your material. So what is that? What's it called, and what inspired it?
Okay, so I have 3 tracks currently that are actually playing on air. My first track is called Hey Mister. It actually has a video. But I also did a song like a month ago, which is called My Way. So between those two, maybe they can choose which one to play, but then I would love them to play My Way, but then they can play Hey Mister because there's a video for it.
Hey Mister, and
Yes.
what was Hey Mister all about?
So basically it's me trying to empower like women, because we live in a society where women are not supposed to woo guys, but then I feel very empowered to write these lyrics to actually call for the one, my Hey Mister, yes.
So here's a brave lady who's gonna stop you and say, hey mister, I think I like you. But anyway, I know I absolutely love you, but I'll have to leave you because until tomorrow here on Diplomatic Passport, if you want to get in touch, you can say hey mister to me on my Twitter handle. That's @ZimRobbie, ZimRobbie, or robinkodio@gmail.com. Whatever you need to say. Of course, we're looking at the new normal. We'll be having more and more young people, and we'll also be going back to our theme until the 10th, when we're looking at HIV and AIDS in the wake of World AIDS Day, which was on the 1st. And of course, we are currently in the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, and they shall culminate and close on the 10th on Human Rights Day. So we've got programming that will speak to that, and of course, putting young people first. So until tomorrow, I'll have to love you and leave you and say, hey mister, and we're going to play out with Rach Music's video.
You can ask, boy, I do it for you. 'Cause you're the one, baby. You're the one, baby. It's the way that you walk and you talk, boy. Drive me crazy, I can't get enough, boy. Hold me tightly, don't ever let me go, boy. Oh, nah, nah. Don't put that way. Wanna be your baby. Even in each day. Mr. Loverman, baby, Mr. Popular, baby, can I be your only one, baby? Hey, Mr. Mr. Loverman, baby, Mr. Popular, baby, can I be your only one, baby? Hey, Mr. Yeah. Mr. Loverman, can I be your only one? Take me to the motherland, love me like an African. I wanna be with you, baby. No matter the time, baby. You know it's you, baby. Come on, love me like an African. It's the way that you walk and you talk, boy. Drive me crazy, I can't get enough, boy. Hold me tightly, don't ever let me go, boy. Don't ever let me go. Don't put that way. Wanna be your baby. Even in each day. Dokuda. Mr. Loverman, baby. Mr. Popular, baby. Can I be your only one, baby? Hey, Mr. Mr. Loverman, baby. you're all that I need. Hey mister, hey mister, hey mister, I waited so